In a previous video, we had shown you how to clip an image. So we've got an image here. If I release it and we give it a color, we've shown you that we can select, well, we can create whatever we want or bring in an image, draw something over the top of it, select them both, right click and make clipping mask, or keyboard command, Command 7 does the same thing. So we've shown you how to do this in the past. But what happens if we bring in an image here and I've got these clouds, and what happens if I want the fluffiness of these clouds and I want to clip them out? Well, we know that if we draw a shape over it, even if I'm doing this rough, I know that I'm never ever going to be able to create the soft edge that I want with just my pen tool. I need to use my pen tool because there was no other way to create this other than just to stack a whole bunch of ellipses and rotate them and whatnot. So the pen tool is the best tool. But how do I actually clip this out? If I select them both at the moment, make clipping mask, it's only ever going to give me this gross, harsh edge. What I can do though is show you a different way to clip. You still need to draw the object, but this time what we're going to do, and let's just make it black so we can fully see, we're going to go to the Effect menu, we're going to go Stylize, go Feather, and what this is doing, if I turn on Preview, is it's feathering 2.5 mil from the outer edge. So let's say if I do 2 mil, it's going to go back. If I go 1 mil, it's going to give me that. Let's say I'm happy with that. I'm going to convert this to white so that I can fully see it. And what I'm going to do now is what I've done before. Select both of them. But this time, instead of right clicking and saying making a clipping mask, I'm going to go to the transparency tab and say make mask. What happens, because it's a cloud, you can't fully see it. I'm going to give it a color. Fine, blue. We've successfully clipped out our image. We've got our feathered edge to it. I mean, some areas aren't as feathered as others, but by and large, it's quite actually acceptable for this. Now, let's just unpack what's happening here. A clipping mask works, if I just release this, a clipping mask works using white and black. So if I just draw a black box over this, everything that is white is visible or is seen. Illustrator says we can see things that are white, and everything that is black is not seen. So if I actually created this and made it black, and if I tried to clip this out now, nothing is going to be shown. So what we need to do is, in understanding how to clip things, it can't actually be a color. It needs to either be white or black in our image. So I'm going to make that white and then go back here and click make. Now, if I wanted to edit this, just like in our egg shape here, if I wanted to edit this, I could go to outline mode so that I can actually see my boundaries. But if the more of your artwork you have, sometimes that gets a little bit more complicated. What you could do is double click on this as well so that you can actually access our background separate from our actual shape. Because if you don't double click and enter isolation mode, if you just click and drag what would be the background around, it's actually dragging our whole object around. So what we need to do is either double click it, click on our mask, double click this so that now we're just working on our mask. And if we give this a different color, then we can actually see what's happening in our mask. And if we do things via the clipping mask, by the clipping path using the right click method, if I draw things over it, if we do things using the clipping mask this way, Illustrator actually does not matter or doesn't care whether it actually is a color or not. It's just using the shape. Okay, so this could be green, it could be red, could be yellow, green, doesn't matter. Illustrator in the end still clips it out. However, when we're talking about using a clipping mask using the opacity mask, as in here, it's actually using black and white. So to edit this, we have got to, you can't go to the outline mode because you actually can't see it. You've got to go and click on this area here to now only edit, and you'll see that it actually selects it for us. This is the only way to edit our mask, our opacity mask. So I can change the shape, I can move this object around, and you can see that it's moving not the image, but it's moving the mask around in the image. I'm just going to undo that. What you can also do is hold down Option or Alt on a PC and click it, and you can edit your mask that way. Given the fact that it's white on white, we can't actually see it. So if I gave this a color, remembering that Illustrator only works using the opacity mark is only white and black, even though we can see blue there, it converts the blue color into a grayscale value in the end. I'm just selecting a color so that I can see my path and edit that, and in the end I'm going to change it to fully white in the end. And if I click back on the image, I get out of that mode and I can actually go back out to my object. If I'm done with this, or if I don't like it, I can release it and it goes back to normal. We can see that we've got this still there. It's just white so you can't really see it. And I can change this, or I can draw something else in here. Let's say we go back with our amazing fish. If I select them both, I can make the mask and it still does the same thing. If I apply a feather to it, and let's say I just cut out the eye again, it still feathers it because I have applied a feather to my whole object. It's not done at a temporal nature. Anytime I cut things out, it'll still go on there because it's an effect. I can then make a mask and it's still going to do exactly the same thing because it is a black and white image that I've used. So, clipping masks. You've learned how to clip them using this particular method where we draw something over it, select both of them, right click, make clipping mask, and that works not only for objects that you create via the geometric tool or pen tool in Illustrator, it also works on images that you bring in, and we've also learnt how to clip images out using the opacity mask by feathering an image, making sure it's white, and then clicking on the Make Mask in the Transparency tab. In understanding this, have a go, have a play, because you will be able to add a really good bow to your quiver. It's a really useful tool to know how to use.